What exactly is cryptocurrency doing right now? It seems like the crypto community is heavily split on this, and while half of us are screaming to buy the dip, saying that these are going to be some of the best buying opportunities of our lifetime, the other half of us are warning of a much larger move to the downside to come. In fact, the one that we just saw could only be the first of a three-leg move to the downside. Well, today I hope to clarify all of this in my Bitcoin technical analysis and price prediction and explain some of the key levels that Bitcoin needs to hold in order to break out to new yearly highs. Now, I am leaning towards being a bull here, so let that be said, but let's go ahead and break this down. And if you're not already subscribed, definitely consider subscribing. We're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and by turning on those post notifications and smacking the subscribe button, it will definitely help us out. But let's go ahead and dive on into this. Now, two levels I want to talk about first on Bitcoin, which are going to be both of the major levels to the up and the downside. So if you're a bull, you're going to want to hold this level, and if you're a bear, you're also going to want to hold the vice versa of this level. So we're going to have to take a look at this on both a daily and a 4-hour chart in order to really understand here. So we're going to take a look at the daily first, and what I want to highlight is exactly where Bitcoin is seeing this resistance. Now, this is going to come right around $47,700, so just below $48,000. We can see that Bitcoin has had some issues with this area before, and we now have our 50 EMA crossing downwards over our 100 EMA on this 4-hour time scale. Now, that alone isn't too dangerous to see. It hasn't even crossed over the 200 yet. But if Bitcoin wants to break out and really make a case for the bulls here, in my opinion, it has to get out and over $47,700 to show that it can hit a higher swing high. Now, the vice versa of this, Bitcoin needs to hold, I would say, around $44,400. We've seen it already hold this level a couple of times, and we can see that this is where a lot of the support is. Of course, we do have the previous low from when Bitcoin initially fell all the way down at $42,700. Now, beyond this, these are the levels that I'm looking at Bitcoin at, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight these so that we can hold these here for the duration of the video, but also take a look at the RSI and the MACD to better understand where Bitcoin's going from here. So if I'm a bull, I want to hold this level, I want to see a rebound, and I want to see Bitcoin break out towards the upside here to show me that the bulls are really strong. And I also want to see that this level gets held. Now, if this breaks below this, I would start to get a little bit more nervous on Bitcoin, especially if Bitcoin starts seeing candle body closings below or inside of this area, because that would be telling me that the bears are gaining strength and that people just are not comfortable buying Bitcoin at this price, which would make it fall. Now, there's been a lot of FUD going around in crypto right now. That'll probably be a topic for a separate video, but looking at the volume has been steadily falling off. The MACD is now just pointing back downwards. But one of the main things that I'm looking here on both the 1-day and the 4-hour RSI is for Bitcoin to ultimately form a higher swing low from where it initially bottomed out at on September 7th, around September 8th. Now, what this would mean is that Bitcoin would probably fall somewhere down to the 30 area on this 4-hour RSI, show a higher swing low, and what this would tell me is that there are lower levels of negative momentum upon this attempt to the downside, really signifying that the bears are weaker in this area and that the bulls are actually gaining strength while the bears are losing it. What I would suspect following this is a pretty nice rally in the price of Bitcoin. Also, the RSI rising back towards a 70, ideally breaking above this. Now, I want to go ahead and switch us over to the 1-day chart so we can look at this from a little bit more of a macro, understand what this candle chart looks like before we go into the too much of the indicators and oscillators, but this is just a quick view of it. Again, one of the things to note here, Bitcoin is really tampering in between this 100 EMA and this 50 EMA on the 1-day chart, and going back to the 4-hour, it's seeing a lot of rejection from the 200 EMA on this 4-hour chart, which does make me a little bit nervous. Now, going back to this 1-day, we can see that the 100 is being used as support. It's really tampering around the 50, so that's going to be a pretty pivotal zone as well. But a lot of this bearish momentum that we saw, and I need to enlarge this, that we saw on this MACD has started to dry up, or at least it appears that it's starting to dry up and round off towards the upside. So if you're a bull, you're liking what you're seeing here. And on the RSI, one of the most bearish things that we saw, and we talked about this in numerous previous videos, was just how much there was lower levels of positive momentum coming on upon every attempt to the upside. So every time that the bulls were trying to push this higher, it was weaker and weaker and lower on this relative strength index, which eventually led to its demise and collapse. So with this actually happening, what we are looking here on this 1 day is an ultimate higher swing low. So the vice versa of this, saying, hey, can we get a higher swing low in this area than we had previously seen before? Because if we can, that would be a really, really good sign for the bulls testament here, not only for some longevity, but I believe that if this does hold and it does have a higher swing high, probably around the 35 range, this would be a really good sign for Bitcoin. And actually, what I think we could see is a much larger rally, rivaling more than what we saw in this last bull run. So, and what took us all the way up to 50 something thousand, 53, 52,000, we could potentially see an even larger bull run if we can see a higher level of bullish momentum come from this relative strength index. That would give me kind of a green light to say, all right, Bitcoin could very well be ready to hit new all-time highs if it can show this kind of strength. So that's kind of what I'm waiting on here. Still haven't pulled the trigger on buying any of my cryptocurrency back in yet. For those of you who don't know, I sold most of my crypto off when Bitcoin was around 52K. Luckily enough, the night before the crash, so I'm still sitting on the sidelines here, contemplating if I want to buy the dip. If I do start buying the dips here, it's going to be in some of the major cryptos first, and then some of the lower market cap altcoins afterwards. Now, again, nothing I say here is legal, financial, or tax advice in any way, but these are some of the biggest areas, again, that I think Bitcoin has to hold. Ultimately, the 100 EMA on the daily time scale, we need to see Bitcoin breaking above 47,300 on just period, and we also want to see Bitcoin roughly hold 44,600. So, continuing on here, I want to go back to the RSI and kind of explain this just a little bit more and what we've seen in the past in the history of the RSI on Bitcoin, and then hopefully giving some sort of an idea of where Bitcoin could bottom out next time. So with this, lost my train of thought here for a second. With what we've seen in the past, of course, we have this 1, 2, 3 macro higher swing lows. And what this signifies is that upon every attempt to the downside, Bitcoin has been stronger and stronger and stronger. And the whole argument that I'm making here for a new all-time high is that if we can see this one more time, this will be quadruple bullish divergence for Bitcoin. And I do believe that this could be some of the momentum and some of the strength that Bitcoin needs to hit that new all-time high. Of course, since we've done that, Bitcoin has been in a phenomenal recovery zone since it topped out towards the beginning of this year. But we can see that this is a multi-year happening. We had this initial one happen all the way back in 2018 at the end. We had this next one happen in 2020, and this most recent bottom happened in May of 2021. So if we were able to go up tens of thousands of dollars on the Bitcoin chart over a couple of years, if we do see this next bottom, this could be one of the most golden buying opportunities for Bitcoin. And I might even just highlight this more in its own video, but I do really think that so much hinges on this for the time being. So if you made it to this part of this video, or this late in the video, congratulations. You know, I do think that this is going to be something that is going to be a huge player in the future of Bitcoin, seeing really where this bottoms out. Can it hold these higher highs that it's been doing for years now? Again, like 2 to 3 years, since all of 2019, the end of 2018, all of 2019, all of 2020, and almost all of 2021, we have held this massive trend line to the upside, and this could be what looks like maybe the next bottom, and that's what we're kind of working our way towards right now. So that's going to go ahead and round us off on this video here. I think I'm going to stop it there because this might even just have to be a 2-part series. But these are some of the key levels that I'm looking at to hold on Bitcoin. Of course, there's not too much resistance over here. If Bitcoin can break this level of like 47,500, there's not going to be too much in here. You are going to have some resistance, but that's going to be it for the time being. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, and leave me a comment in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but that's going to go ahead and wrap us off. So once again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.